things in order, then cut her loose and lock up the house. We'll put it on the market next week and hope for the best. There's no reason for her to hang around at $5 an hour. In the shadows, Letty dropped her head. Maybe not so fast, Ian said politely. At some point, and soon, we'll see the will. In it, we'll find out who will serve as the executor of the estate, probably one a year. It's usually the surviving spouse or one of the kids. The executor will run the estate according to the terms of the will. I know all that, Herschel said, though he really didn't. Because Ian dealt with lawyers daily, he often acted like the legal expert in the family. One of many reasons Herschel despised him. I just can't believe he's dead, Ramona said, finding a tear to wipe. Herschel glared at her and was tempted to lunge across the table for a backhand. To his knowledge, she made the trip to Ford County once a year, usually alone because Ian couldn't stand the place and Seth couldn't stand Ian. She would leave Jackson around 9 a.m., insist on meeting Seth for lunch at the same roadside barbecue hut 10 miles north of Clanton, then follow him home, where she was usually bored by 2 p.m. and back on the road by 4. Her 2 children, both in middle school, private, had not seen their grandfather in years. For sure, Herschel could claim nothing closer, but then he wasn't sitting there crying fake tears and pretending to miss the old man. A loud knock at the door startled them. 2 uniformed deputies had arrived. Herschel opened the door, invited them in. Awkward introductions were made at the refrigerator. The deputies removed their hats and shook hands. Marshal Prather said, "Sorry to interrupt y'all, but me and Deputy Purtle here were sent to Sheriff Walls, who, by the way, sends his deepest condolences. We brought back Mr. Hubbard's car." He handed the keys to Herschel and said, "Thanks." Deputy Purtle pulled an envelope out of a pocket and said, "This here's what Mr. Hubbard left right there on the kitchen table. We found it yesterday after we found him. Sheriff Walls made copies but thinks the family needs to keep the originals." He handed the envelope to Ramona, who was sniffling again. Everyone said thanks, and after another awkward round of nodding and handshaking, the deputies left. Ramona opened the envelope and pulled out 2 sheets of paper. The first was the note to Calvin in which Seth confirmed his death as a proper suicide. The second was addressed not to his children, but to whom it may concern. It read, "Funeral instructions. I want a simple service at the Irish Road Christian Church on Tuesday, October 4th at 4 p.m. with Reverend Don McElwain presiding. I'd like for Mrs. Nora Baines to sing the Old Rugged Cross. I do not want anyone to attempt a eulogy. Can't imagine anyone wanting to. Other than that, Reverend McElwain can say whatever he wants, 30 minutes max. If any black people wish to attend my funeral, then they are to be admitted. If they are not admitted, then forget the whole service and put me in the ground. My pallbearers are Harvey Moss,